Welcome back to the channel. Today we've got a little update for you and we've been pretty busy with the race car. Take a look. So the obvious things first, we've got a big wide white body kit sitting on the car. This has come from mhonda in Japan. The actual kit, when it came through to us, came through in a massive big box. Once we unpacked and started getting onto the car, the actual fitment of where it actually meets body lines all around the rear skirts and the rear arch there, it fits lovely. So to actually be able to put this on, it's just going to require a little bit of paint, flatten down in places, and then you're pretty much good to go. So the kit comes pretty complete with front bumper, arches, skirts, and the rear as well. Although on the rear, we don't actually have any rear bumper, it's just where the arches come around the back. So that led me to want to actually do some more aerodynamic work ourselves. So as we walk around to the rear, I just must explain now that by no means do I have any sort of understanding of aero. This is all stuff that I've picked up along the time that we've spent racing and working with other manufacturers as to what they produce. To start on the front, we've got a big front splitter here. It's made of 12mm ply and it's bolted directly to the body of the car. But ultimately we want to make that as big as possible to help with that downforce on the front end. Coming around to the rear then. So I popped over to Revere Carbon and bought a few sections here, just box sections initially. And it's to start to make the basis of our rear diffuser. I wanted something that really wide on the back just to sort of show off the width of the car, bearing in mind we're putting a wide arch kit on it as well. Another thing that I wanted to do was keep these rear wheels exposed. Just the look that I like, I think it looks really cool when you see the sort of race cars or the time attack cars. It just complements the whole design of what's going on with the car here at the minute. So as I mentioned, these were just box sections from Revere Carbon. Now Simon at Revere, he did explain to me that I need the optimum angle of around 7 degrees. I know we've pushed this a little bit further, but it was just to get the full range. We're actually mounting here on adjustable tie rods, so we're going to be able to drop this down as we need to. But then also to complement the rear diffuser, our friend Elliot, who makes our downpipe for us, he's also come up with the exhaust here where we're going to try and blow the back end of the diffuser, pushing the hot air to help the cold air sucking out the back of the car. We've done that with a slash cut and left it a little bit over so that once we do start to alter this angle here to try and optimise, we can then trim this back into nice and flush with the back of the diffuser. Effectively at the minute it's just been bolted together, but this will get sort of resined into place and made as one piece, so it's a big solid diffuser in the end. But for now, just for speccing up, getting the arches fitted, I've just bolted together just to get myself the idea of the shapes and sizes what we need to work with. So one other little area which I had to work on was actual trimming in around this M&M body kit onto the rear diffuser that we've made. So like I mentioned, I've got the adjustable stays there and I kind of gave myself a bit of a rough line, but it was a bit of a task taking an angle grinder and a belt sander to this fiberglass here, which obviously cost a lot of money to get it over, not only the kit itself but the shipping, and then to start cutting it up, I've only really got one chance in trying to make that right. So obviously all the rear here, I'm going to try and accommodate all the original Type R grills that go into the rear bumper here, across the rear, just to try and keep it looking like a Type R from the back, but effectively where someone just cut off and wedged in a big diffuser. So back around the front, we've got the bumper on without any sort of headlights in there, just to sort of check our clearance around the back of the crash beam here. I've put in this air duct that's going to go up to the airbox as well. You'll probably notice we've got a PWR intercooler on the car now as well as putting in a HKS oil cooler around this side. It's all ducted as well, so again it was trimming in and making sure that we're not going to get any rubbing on the back of the bumper once it's all painted and refitted. So a lot of trial and error in putting the bumper on and off to try and get that fitment. Having previously picked up one of these back in 2019, and that was with a road car, I must remind. Obviously the road car, it was with basic bolt-ons. It was everything from air filters, intercoolers, we have pistons and rods in that car, as well as the Civex. So that would be all stuff that we'd then sell to customers, to everyday road users, as well as tractor users. But with this car in particular, this is obviously Honda's Racecar. It's a 24-hour car we're now converting to a time attack car. It's a good basis for us to really try and exploit the benefit of this platform. With our idea in mind is that we just want to put more power into the car and more aero to see what sort of lap times we can really extract. One of the areas that I wanted to touch on really, and that was after spending time at the first round of time attack in Cadwell Park, looking at some of the other competitors' cars and what they were doing. There was a guy there, Michael Andrew, who was actually running some form of aero disc over the rear wheel. But what we've gone for here is some of the Rockform aero discs, along with the cap to then screw into the front here. This unfortunately isn't going to fit onto our wheels. That with the fact that we've got a new lighter set of wheels coming next month, I need to find some way to secure these wheels as a bit of a universal fitment depending on what wheel we're using. So front splitter, obviously I mentioned before that we've got the board mounted now. I'm just waiting really to clarify on the regulations as to how far we can then have this splitter sticking out. So in the regs and the class that we're going to be going for, we've got 150mm of extension. That's the length there. but it's whether we have to trim it in around here or whether we're allowed to leave it to this big squared shape along the front here. Obviously bumper strakes will change slightly as we determine what size it will be. It hasn't all been bodywork that's been going on the race car. There has been a little bit going on underneath the engine bay. So to have a look under here, we've got one of the P600 PRL turbos on the car now. That's mated with our dream downpipe as it previously was. And we're going to be using a different intake on this. So previously when Honda were running the car, they had a 3D printed bracket coming off the side here, down to a tube, and they used to run a panel filter in the front bumper. That we're doing away with, and we're going with the conventional up and over pipe across the front, and then feeding from the left-hand side over here. You probably noticed that we haven't got any mirrors on the car at the moment. That's not only because I'm waiting for some carbon mirrors to come through, but I'm also working on a temporary solution for, just getting a bit of weight off the car again. So what I've made up here, effectively cut up an old mirror and a base plate. Got a nice little bit of carbon that's going to slot across the front there, and then allow us to mount a small aero mirror just around the side here. So that's a little update for you. I hope you've enjoyed watching it. Now if you've got any questions, please leave them in the comments below. Please remember to like, share and subscribe to the video, and we'll see you on the next one.